Former President Donald Trump hitting the campaign trail this weekend. Tomorrow night, he's set to visit Rapid City, South Dakota. Trump will be headlining an event with the state's Republican Party at the Monument Arena. It's about 30 minutes away from Mount Rushmore. The event is sold out.
And the last time the 45th president visited South Dakota was here in July of 2020. When he was at Mount Rushmore for the 4th of July. And Trump now will be alongside a special guest tomorrow night, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Governor Noem is with us on National Report now. Governor Noem, good to see you, and thank you so much for coming on. We do appreciate that.
Well, good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to be with you as well. I wanted to jump into that. Obviously, former President Trump will be in your state. This will be tomorrow. As you know, there is a lot of speculation about you, a potential vice presidential pick for Trump should he win the nomination. The question is, would you be surprised if Trump would ask you to run with him should that happen? And do you even know what you would say to it?
Well, it's early to be having these conversations. Obviously, President Trump is doing very well in the Republican primary. I don't see how anybody else can beat him. And I've supported him in this race because he's the best one to lead our country. We don't have to guess what kind of decisions he would make. We've seen his strong leadership in national security issues and also taking care of families here at home. So, you know, certainly he'd be 1,000 times better than Joe Biden and how he's devastating our country right now. So I think anybody that is asked to step up during these challenging times should consider it. Everybody needs to look at what they can do to play a role in leading a life of significance that's really going to make a huge difference for our kids and our grandkids. So great Americans who cherish their freedom and want to continue to live in liberty, they need to consider anything they're asked to do.
So if you were asked, you would consider it, at least?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would in a heartbeat just because, you know, you respect the position and the person who asks you to do something, and then see if you really believe that you could make a difference. You know, President Trump needs a strong partner if he's going to take back the White House, and he's going to need somebody who knows what it's like to run a business, to be an employee, earn a paycheck, but also having a wife, mom, and a grandma isn't bad either. And I think that kind of perspective would weigh in very well on a lot of policy decisions.
If we can, let's shift to the border crisis with you just for a moment. I know this is something that you have acted upon. You recently sent, if I'm correct, 50 South Dakota National Guard troops to the southern border, joining more than a dozen other Republican governors sending troops there. Vice President Kamala Harris is supposed to be President Biden's, quote, border czar, if you will, but yet seemingly not done so much to get this under control. You've seen New York City call out the federal government. You've seen several blue states call out the federal government here. Do you have a message for this administration or a message for this vice president who should be overseeing this crisis?
Well, do something, do better, make a decision that actually puts America first and that considers what the harm they're doing to our families and our communities all across this nation. Every single state is a border state right now. Every day in South Dakota, I'm dealing with increased drugs, increased human trafficking. The cartels have set up on our Native American reservations here in South Dakota to funnel those drugs into the Midwest that's coming over the southern border. So, you know, I've had National Guard troops down at the border helping in partnership with Border Patrol and the National Guard from Texas as well. Even last summer, we had folks down there. We've got our Lakota helicopters helping with surveillance. But the fact is we are not going to be able to really deal with this situation until we get a president on board that recognizes the threat this is to our country. This is a national security issue. We have dangerous people coming into our country to do us harm every day over that border. And, you know, the fact is we don't need any new laws. We just need our president who respects our laws and starts enforcing them down there to keep our country safe.
You know, another important topic on the minds of conservative voters has to do with protecting children, potentially from, you know, gender transition therapies. I understand you recently passed a ban on these such therapies for young people in South Dakota. Several other states have done the same. But Governor, what are your thoughts on a potential national ban, again, on these controversial treatments for those under the age of 18? Would you consider a ban on them for adults as well?
Well, I think it needs to be a part of the discussion. The bill that we passed here in South Dakota specifically protected children from irreversible changes to their body and medical treatments to their body that under the age of 18 to help them through a situation and support their families, but also not allow them to do irreversible harm until they reach an age where they can make a better decision. That bill has been looked at now in several other states, and they're considering passing it. I think it's important that every day we look to how we can protect our children and how we can support their families and help them, not harm them.
I wanted to ask you about this. I don't think we were able to talk to you about it in the past, but Ben & Jerry's, the ice cream company, used the 4th of July to attack the United States of America, saying the U.S. should give back the stolen indigenous land our country was founded on, starting with Mount Rushmore, and that's where you come into this, Governor. Quite possibly the most iconic American monument in the nation, one of former President Trump's most famous speeches as well, delivered back in 2020, as we have shown. Governor Noem, do you have any response to Ben & Jerry's and, again, getting political, attacking Mount Rushmore, attacking essentially American values?
Well, we're not going to take any advice from East Coast liberals that don't understand the incredible monument that we have in our state that represents great leaders that led our country through challenging times. So I think that what is so interesting is their corporate headquarters was built on indigenous land too. So they're the biggest of hypocrites on this issue by calling for us to tear down that monument and to destroy this memory of our former leaders while they're sitting there in corporate headquarters on land that hits the same classification. Just is extremely hypocritical, but pretty predictable coming out of folks that are so liberal and so socialist that what they're trying to do by embracing these types of ideas is really undermine our history. And our history that helps us understand that all of our leaders weren't perfect. Nobody did everything 1,000% right all the time, but we can learn from even the things that were challenges, that were difficult times in their lives. And that is really the benefit that we need to continue to remember that these leaders represent, and why we have a monument, so that we can go there and reflect and learn and teach our kids about that history so they don't repeat it in the future.
We understand you're encouraging people to see the monument firsthand, but also consider living in South Dakota. You launched a national workforce recruitment campaign last month to try to bring in more workers to the state. Maybe our viewers have seen the commercials, the advertisement here. You're trying a handful of different jobs, but it turns out it had an impact. Thousands reportedly responded. Can you tell us about who answered the call? Where are these folks coming from? And are they really interested in moving to South Dakota?
Yeah, it's incredible. These commercials, we're talking about our economy, our strong business environment that we have here in South Dakota, and the fact that we have more jobs here than we have people. And if folks wanted to come to a state that was successful, where they could get high-paying jobs, we were helping them with their training and giving them benefits, that they should consider moving to South Dakota. We've had thousands of families come into the process of moving to our state. It's been by far the most successful marketing campaign that the state of South Dakota has ever had in our history. And it's making a world of difference for those families, but also our businesses who now can take advantage of having a full workforce and really provide for this country the necessities that it needs. So we found out also in this campaign, I'm not a good welder. Plumbing is not really my strong suit. And boy, when I tried my hand at being an electrician, that didn't go very well either. But hopefully with all these people moving to South Dakota now, I can have some time to get back to my real job.
There you go. It's always great. You realize you appreciate the skills everyone brings to the table. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciated your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy your day.
You too.